It's time to get at it. So we have the Shoichi patch notes. We saw Shoichi's skills earlier today, and honestly I'm really excited to see what his numbers are looking like and to see what the rest of the balance changes are like. I don't know how big this patch notes is. It seems pretty beefy, but at the same time doesn't seem that long, so overall it shouldn't be too long of a patch notes discussion. But either way, let's get right into it. New character Shoichi. Again, we saw what all the skills looked like earlier, but the most important thing to know is that he's hot, and this is a big win. This is a big win for those who like boys. But I guess he also has some numbers on his skills. So his passive, basically whenever he hits somebody, he increases his crit chance by a certain amount. He earns a stack of phony deal each time he hits an enemy with a skill, increasing his critical strike chance by 3 to 5% for 6 seconds. Upon reaching 5 stacks, his normal attack damage is increased by 10 to 20%. If he picks up a dagger off the ground, he throws it at the nearest enemy within 5 meters, dealing a pretty decent amount of damage. I'm curious if this skill scales with Skill Amp. I don't know if we know for sure. I'd assume it does. Oh, geez, excuse me. I like just woke up to do this. Like I was asleep and I was told, oh my god, the patch is out. Guys, quick, do a patch note thing. But yeah, his Q. I think this patch was really good because it's like 3 skills in one practically. It's really good. His Q, he does damage in an area, and then if he hits somebody, he can deal damage in a cone, a small cone in front of him, and it leaves behind a dagger. The numbers seem pretty decent. Does picking up a dagger give stacks too? Yeah, I don't know if it counts as a skill. Like it says, whenever he deals damage to an enemy with a skill. I don't know if this second activation here counts as dealing damage with a skill. I assume it. That's a really good question. I'd have to watch like the little like clips that they sent out with the skill reveal. I'm actually not sure. No, it wouldn't infinitely scale. No, because not necessarily. It would just give him like a few free activations. I don't know. In any case, his Q is part 2. Yeah, I know. I've seen what his Q does. It has like an AoE attack. And then if you hit somebody, you can do it again, but it's a cone this time, and it leaves behind like a dagger or something. It's pretty good. Yeah, no spoilers, please. No spoilers. No spoilers. All right, his W, bottom line, he dashes to a targeted enemy or dagger. Wait, oh, he can dash to daggers. Oh, that wasn't clear earlier. Okay, that's really exciting. So he can dash to an enemy or a dagger, dealing decent damage to all enemies in the path. So it doesn't just damage the person he targets, it damages everything in the path. That's kind of neat. If he picks up a dagger, the cooldown is completely reset. So wait a second. So I'm just now realizing if he can target daggers with this, and dashing to a dagger resets the cooldown, if there's a bunch of daggers on the ground because of his ult, he can just go like dash 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 dash, which is actually really sick. Huh. That's actually kind of dope. It costs SP, true, yeah, but just I guess just have SP regen. Probably important. I mean, Scotty obviously would be really good on him. Scotty, or I don't know. I mean, some combination of Scotty plus Straight Jackets, I think would do really good on him. What else? He seems sick so far, not gonna lie. Keep in mind also, since this is targeted, it means that he can't just jump over a wall willy-nilly. That being said, if he has a target that is over the wall, he can jump over a wall by targeting someone who is over the wall and he has vision of them. His E, he takes a small step back and throws a dagger forward, dealing decent damage. The first enemy hit and reducing their movement speed by 10 to 50%. Nice typo. Upon hitting an enemy, a dagger will fall behind them. So you can obviously follow that up with a dash towards them, because you can, I guess, either hit them or dash to the dagger, one or the other. Does his first impression compare to Adriana's? He seems significantly better than Adriana. One thing that we have to see is whether or not they're going to nerf the absolute shit out of Mount Slicer. If Mount Slicer stays intact, he's going to be kind of dumb. But, and again, please don't tell me if it is. I don't want to know. We're going to find out. But in any case, he seems really good. His ult. He swings his deadly briefcase, dealing 150 to 200 to 250 with a 0.3 ratio damage to enemies all around him, rooting them for 1 second and tossing 4 daggers to the ground in a square. Daggers pierce enemies, dealing some amount of damage. It's got not that long of a cooldown at all ranks. Rooted range 2.5. So do we know the duration? Oh, 1 second. Yeah, okay. So it's a 1 second root. All right. So I mean, this is a really good. I really like this ult because it seems like it just enables the rest of his kit really hard. Like his whole kit seems very synergistic, and I really like it. It seems like he's just gonna be dashing around all over the place, just fucking slinging knives out. Like he seems honestly really sick. I think he's gonna be super fun. I think he'll be probably one of the most popular characters in the game, if I had to guess. He seems just really cool. And there's no way he isn't good, because, and this is what a lot of people aren't thinking about. Guys, keep in mind, does he have no direct way of escaping a fight? Yes. However, he is dagger, which means that he has access to dagger skill, which means that he does actually have an escape mechanism. It's just in his weapon skill. And yeah, I know, yes, this might be a little bit of a movement thing, but kind of not really. His dash, yeah, but he has to have a target, so his main escape is probably going to be in the form of dagger skill. So just keep that in mind. He does have an escape. He's not just always getting in, because he's got dagger skill. And that gives him a really good get out of jail free card. But it's on a long cooldown. And it means he can't just use dagger skill to initiate, but this kit with dagger skill is just really sick. I can't wait for this guy. I'm very excited. Air supply adjustments. Oh, nice. So, yeah, it's true. Air supplies do kind of suck. They're kind of just like really not that good. I've been fine with them sort of being there for new players. Basically, how I've always viewed them is just like it's a new player thing. They can pick up items that they don't know how to finish other items. They can pick stuff up out of boxes. So we're gonna see if they actually work them into something more significant. Higher rarity airdrops are going to appear earlier in the game. Air supply drop rate is changed. So day one. So overall, I won't get into it entirely, but overall, you're seeing improvements to the rarities entirely. The thing is, though, is that the number of drops are decreasing. So it looks like you might actually want to fight over boxes earlier in the game. Previously, it was only possible to get a legendary box spawning at night. Sorry, at night 3. So day 4. What? No, oh, sorry, not night 3. Sorry, I take that back. Day 4 at night. Day 4 night used to be the first chance to get legendaries, but now they can spawn as early as day 3 day. It's only a 10% chance. True, but there's 5 boxes that are going to spawn, so there's actually a decent chance you might see this show up every game. It's like going to be in roughly every other game. And then obviously, day 3 night and day 4 day, you're definitely going to be seeing some legendaries coming down. There's going to be way more legendary boxes on the map, which is kind of crazy. I definitely see myself opening these a lot. Yeah, probably going to be seeing a lot more Hermes boots, maybe a lot more auto arms too. This is kind of an interesting change, and I'm not sure how this is going to actually shake up the meta of the game. You're probably, and this is the thing that scares me, you're probably going to start seeing a lot more smart bombs and remote mines, even though you were already seeing a lot to begin with. I bet you're going to see a lot of people cranking those things out of boxes, because there's not that many legendary items to begin with. So this is a little bit concerning. However, I don't think it's a bad change, because honestly, yeah, their supplies were ignored. They kind of just sucked. No one really cared about them. So this is a good thing, I think. Just as in previous patches, in the case of restricted area acceleration, certain days may be skipped. That's totally reasonable. Alright, UI improvements. Your route is now displayed in the Hyperloop map. Love this change. Areas you haven't visited yet will be indicated with a white font. Areas have been indicated with a gray font. Okay. Basically, the reason why it matters which places you've been to and which places you haven't is that there is a mastery in the game called, I think it's Move Mastery, that does actually reward you for going to areas you haven't been to yet. It gives you experience. So yeah, that's actually kind of neat. You can now apply modes to save plans when sharing the plan. Huh. So you can sort of specify, hey, this mode's, or this save plan I'm sharing is good for solo, this one's good for duo, this one's good for squad, etc. That's kind of a nice change. I kind of like that. At least, assuming that's what that means. You can filter shared save plans per mode. Nice. When sharing save plans, it now displays the version it was shared on. That's a great change. So the one thing I have to say about this is that honestly right now there's really not enough difference in save plans to say this is a squad mode, or this is a squad plan, this is a solo plan. I don't know if I would really upload any of my plans and specify it, because they kind of feel like they'd be used for everything. I'm sure there are some plans that can be specified and probably should be, but I can't really think of them right now. I feel like everything kind of works in everything, but you know, who knows. I'm assuming some things that are more specific, like tanky supportive plans, maybe those are the ones we want to say like, hey, this is, you know, this is really just a squad Magnus build. If you're seeing like tanky stuff, Hammer of Thor, yeah, call it a squad plan because it's more support. I get that. All right, spawn point improvements. Some spawn points, some starting points that were considered relatively unfair have been modified. Awesome. 2 temples and pond. Okay, so first of all, temple and pond. I swear to God, I have to know what this pond or this temple location is, because to my knowledge, there was one spawn in particular that was complete garbage. So I'm curious if this is the one that I'm thinking of, because there used to be, you guys know that vending machine that's near pond? There's like a pot with a vending machine next to it near the entrance to pond. So there was a spawn right there, and that was fine. That spawn was fine. However, you know that little gate that leads to pond that's like right near that? That's just strictly objectively worse. It's just farther away from that other spawn. That was a spawn as well. So there were 2 spawns that were essentially like back to back, and one was just straight up far worse than the other, like objectively way worse. So I'm guessing that's the one that got fixed. One location in factory near the hospital. Oh, like you can't just get corner spawned up by the dog. That's great. 2 locations around the Tree of Life Inn Hotel. Thank God, those spawns were really terrible. And 2 locations in Avenue near the entrance to Alley. That one was really bad too. And 2 locations near the fire station. Oh, that's the one that's like by the dumpster, I guess. And 1 location in front of the, oh nice, they are the lighthouse one. That's good too. Good changes. Yeah, I'm glad. I think making these less unfair is really important. I'm wondering if they're ever going to have to just completely change the systems for spawning in general. But for now, sure. Good changes. Mission levels. Missions are separated into 4 classes according to their difficulty after reaching account level 21. Sure. Missions don't really have that much of an impact on the game right now, so that's fine, I guess. Tutorial improvements. Added an announcement if the inventory is full in the first tutorial. Increased the restricted area timer of bots in the 5th tutorial to 120 seconds. Were bots exploding too much? That's really funny. Matchmaking improvements. Increased the time before matchmaking segmentation is widened. Queue time may increase slightly, but matchmaking will be a bit more accurate. Slightly decrease the dodge penalty for pre-made teams in duo and squad. Man. Yep, they sure did that. I was gonna say, okay, yeah, Gino, you said the words so I didn't have to. Here's the thing. My fellow NA server brothers and sisters, we simply are not the main audience anymore. In fact, We never were, but we're definitely way less than we ever were before. The game is being made for the Korean server at this point to a huge degree. We used to be a consideration in the past, but we really just aren't anymore. Most changes nowadays, I can assure you, are just catering towards the Korean server, and that's fine. They have, you know, 18,000 player peaks while we have 3,000 player peaks. We aren't as big as them, and we're not growing as big as them. I wish they would do some stuff to help advertise for us, but they're not doing it, and that's fine, whatever. Maybe something's in the pipeline, we don't know. But the thing is that these changes, when you see a change like this, you just gotta know this is made with the Korean server in mind, because it's good for the Korean server. They have the player base to sustain more strict matchmaking, more accurate matchmaking. Any player base really doesn't. We already have queue time issues. The queue times are going to get longer. There's nothing we can do about it. They're not going to keep making the game catering for us, since we're just not the breadwinners for them. So whatever. Expect this sort of stuff in the future. I already expect it. I kind of have to breathe a sigh of sadness and frustration every time I see it, but you know, there it is. Hey, at least squad queue times are actually pretty low, so hey, everyone just queue squads. Squad's pretty good. Spectator mode. Increase the number of spectators from 3 to 5. Great. It's objectively great. And it's now possible to join as a spectator even when all 18 participants have joined the match. Cool. That's just a nice quality of life change. Optimization. We're currently optimizing in-game character resources. Perfect. This will be tested with ISIL for this update and will be expanded gradually in the future. Cool. So it looks like they're trying to optimize the game. No complaints. I hope they make an actual trailer that doesn't look like cheap mobile cash grab trailer either. Yeah, the trailer's not amazing. I do hope they make a good trailer at some point, but at least it's not the crappy dubstep one that they had before. So you know what? Pick your battles. Adriana. We're finally in the character balance stuff, so get excited for that. Adriana getting a 3 attack power increase and a 2 defense increase. Alright. Aya. Attack power decrease. Attack power per level increase. So she's getting more of this like scaling change. And her E is getting a longer cooldown, 2 seconds at all ranks. I'll be right back real quick. Okay, I'm back. This is like something I'm not too surprised by. I'm glad it was a surprise. I'm glad they didn't change Aya too much. I was really, and honestly, I am really anticipating major range nerfs for some stupid reason, because it happens at every patch. So I'm just sort of, you know, buckling my seatbelt and going, I hope it's not too bad this time. And so here's our first one. Aya getting her E increased by 2 seconds. This attack power change is pretty important. I kind of don't care. This, however, this is pretty significant, but I'm not like really crying over it. This is probably fine, but man, I knew it was coming. I just, all right, whatever. Kiara, her defense reduction per stack has been reduced by 2% at all ranks. I think Kiara did need a little bit of turning. What am I trying to say? Tuning down. So I think this is fine. I'm not sure if this is the way to go about it, but it's probably okay. Fiora, increasing attack power per level. Her Q is getting some changes. It's getting its base power completely shafted. Interesting. It's getting a 0.2 attack power ratio, but I don't know if that's going to make up for it, honestly. It's a terrible skill that you'll never use, and it's still just unusable as far as I can tell. And the vision duration is being reduced. It had vision. I don't really know about that one. Heart is going to be dealing more damage in duo and more damage in squad. Thank God, these changes needed to happen. She's taking less damage in squad. She's getting a little bit more base defense. All right, I'm down with that. Currently, oh, let's talk about Hedgen. She got a sentence. Currently, only data about characters and weapons can be observed and modified. For Hedgen's Shuriken, it's tricky for us to know aspect needs a change. We are modifying our system so we can modify characters and weapons in pairs for balance. We will modify Hedgen's Shuriken when we implement it. So this is something I've been talking about since, I don't know, we had a roundtable discussion about this a long time ago, sometime in, I think, closed beta or open beta, where I talked about essentially saying, yes, giving weapons to multiple characters means it's going to be impossible to actually balance them, because a weapon shared by blank, or a weapon shared by X and a weapon shared by Y will not have the same, effectiveness, and they'll need to be balanced accordingly based on the character. And currently the way that the system is set up is that you can't buff or nerf the weapon without indirectly buffing or nerfing another character that doesn't need to be buffed or nerfed. And that's our issue we have here with Hedgen. Hedgen is strong. Hedgen with bow is strong. Hedgen with shuriken is weak. So what's the way you buff her? You can't buff Hedgen because then bow Hedgen will be way too good. You can't buff shuriken because Sisela and Zahir will all be way too good. So what do you buff? You kind of can't buff anything. So that's sort of the issue. And then, yeah, now we have Hedgen, who's at the bottom of the stats list every week with shuriken, and she's not doing anything. Like, it's a weird situation. How do you do it? So it seems like the game is choosing to actually start doing character specific weapon balancing. Maybe, who knows, we'll see. I mean, that's basically what this is implying, so I don't know how they're gonna pull that off. Either way, I'm excited. Fiora Q grants vision on enemies, but when is it relevant? Honestly, I did not know that. I actually just had no idea. That's actually very interesting. Hyunwoo is going to be taking more damage in duo mode, I guess. Cool. I'm all for Hyun nerfs. I wish they would do this in squad as well. Why is this just in duo and not in squad? That's a great question. Isol. His pistol attack speed is being increased, and his rifle attack speed is being increased, and his defense level is being increased. Holy cow. Sick. Honestly, I play a ton of Isol lately. I think Isol's in pretty decent shape. I love this. Couldn't be happier. Jackie's W is going to be giving you less movement speed at lower ranks, but it levels out to the same amount at max rank. Dual Sword's base attack speed is being reduced ever so slightly. This is probably okay. I think Jackie's in general right now kind of 1-point wonder W. So I think it's a good thing to force them to actually have to put more points into it early on. But this does mean that a like high level Jackie is still the same as a high level Jackie of before. Cinnamon says, I think the only way to fix that would be to introduce specific weapon scaling to weapons. Example, Q gains 0.2 AP to bow. Oh, yeah, that's potentially a fix. I don't know if that is the fix, but that's potentially a fix. We'll see what they end up doing. Lee Dylan, her cooldown is going from 10 seconds at all ranks to, oh no, 12 to 10 seconds. Barely a nerf at all. Movement range when tipsy is decreased. No, movement range when not tipsy is 2.25. That's a good change. I'm very happy about that. This is still, in my opinion, like a non-nerf. It's a start. I really wish they would address some of the rest of her kit. I feel like her silence is just way too good at 2 seconds for a massive cone silence. I still think her ult's insane too, but I don't know, whatever. We take Dylan nerfs when we get them, which is basically never, so this is fine. I'm okay with this. Nadine getting a little more scaling attack power. She needs it because she's pretty weak at the moment. Sisela, less base attack power. Shukai, buffed. Hello? Why are we buffing Shukai? Would anyone like to explain to me why we're buffing Shukai? The best character in the game right now is being buffed. Why? Why exactly? Because boy, do I not understand that. Zahir is doing less damage in duo now. Zahir is doing, oh, so it was 2% less in duo. It's 5% less in squad. That's significant, which honestly, if anyone has been paying attention to the stats lately, this needed to happen. Zahir was by far the highest squad win rate. Yeah. Defense per level is increased, and that's fine. But yeah, this really needed to happen. Magnus got his bike explosion fixed, which was great. It was like the animation was all fucked up this patch, I don't know if you played Magnus at all. Basically, you would bike on someone, they would still take damage, but the explosion would occur like way behind them. It was super janky. So I'm glad they fixed that. Weapons. Smokescreen, the cooldown is way less now. That's actually kind of cool. Ruthenium Marble, 10 more attack power. David's Sling, 10 more attack power. Incendiary Bomb, 10 more attack power. Okay. You know what? I'm down with that. If we're gonna buff throw weapons, these are probably the good ones to buff. Then a big throws a here buff. Yeah, Ruthenium Marble getting a nice little 10 attack power bonus. Like, I don't think David's Sling's that good. I don't think Incendiary Bomb's that good, and I don't think these changes are necessarily going to change that. However, Incendiary Bomb's easy to rush, so maybe this is pretty good at 70 attack power now. And Ruthenium Marble is, this buff to Ruthenium Marble is more of a throws a here buff than it is an Adriana buff. So that's kind of interesting. Elemental Bow, 3 less skill amp, which is probably fine. Golden, because honestly, Elemental Bow is really overstated. I don't think. Yeah, I think I'm just fine with this. Golden Ratio Bow, 4 extra attack power, which is I guess fine as well, because Golden Ratio wasn't that amazing to begin with. Frostbow, all right. What's in store for my boy Crossbow? What's gonna happen here? Crossbow D skill. It deals less damage. It has a lower ratio by quite a lot, and the cast time is longer. Oh my god, dude. The crossbow skill is already such a long cast time. I can't even imagine trying to cast this thing now. Wow, why are we increasing that? We're nerfing sniper crossbow and we're nerfing golden ghost again. Fucking cool, dude. Like, man, why? Hey, look, if we're gonna nerf these crossbows, which sure I'm fine with, they're like her best weapons, can we buff Nadine like more to compensate, please? Because man, these are some fucking nerfs. Pistol changes, yes. Okay, so it looks like my boy Electron Blaster dodged the nerf, so I'm definitely playing a lot more Electron Blaster this patch. Elegance is getting slightly less movement speed. This probably needed to happen. 0.25 on a weapon is absolutely stupid, and no one can tell me otherwise. I play a lot of pistol, and I think 0.25 on any weapon that is not like a mithril weapon is absolutely stupid. So sure, good change. I'm happy with that. Shuriken, Caltrops. Ooh, deals less damage on consecutive Caltrop hits. That's a big nerf to Sicela. That's like actually a huge nerf to Sicela. That's a lot of damage difference. Pedal Torrent, it's a little bit less spell amp. Alright, it's not, that's probably fine. I personally don't even play Pedal Torrent. This doesn't hurt my soul too much, but you know, you see a lot of Pedal Torrents out there. It's got a really good win rate. That being said, it does have that sort of stats flaw of, well, if you manage to finish it and you die with it, you know, it's way harder to finish it and then die with it than it is to say finish Azure Dagger and then die with it. So yeah, the stats will look good for it, but it's also harder to make, so it's hard to say. Two-handed sword mastery is getting less attack speed per level, which is a great change, because honestly, have you seen two-handed sword stats lately? Also, have you seen how much attack speed you get at level 20 with two-handed sword? It's about 72%. 72 attack speed at level 20, which is absolutely insane for two-handed sword. If you look around on the other masteries, you'll rarely see anything that reaches that level. I think glove gets to 72% for some stupid reason. Maybe that should be nerfed too. But like in general, they float around like 30 to 60. Sorry, not 30 to 60, like 30 to 40%. So having it be at 72 is kind of ridiculous. I don't know what it goes to now. It should be like what, 66, I think, if my head math is correct. Meteor Claymore gets a slight buff. Statue of Soteria gets a slight nerf. Hammer, the weapon skill, the defense reduction is a shorter duration, which is kind of completely bizarre to me and a little bit perplexing. Because was anyone thinking that Hammer Magnus was nuts right now? Wasn't Hammer Magnus like bottom of the barrel tier 4 for like a long time? Like Gino's the only person who says like I play with Gino. He plays Hammer Magnus, and I say, you know, Gino, Hammer Magnus just isn't that good. And he's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hammer Magnus is actually kind of good. And I'm like, Gino, I know it's not. It's actually kind of good, but like, it's not actually that good. Like, it's really not. Stats wise, Hammer is good. Do you think it's it's like okay, like it didn't need a nerf this big. Like if you're gonna nerf it, sure, nerf it, but this is a huge nerf. 5 seconds down to 3 seconds, that's a huge nerf. Like that's really big. I don't understand why this is happening, but whatever. Ooh, trap installation time is going up. It's gonna be harder to do combat traps. Sting bursts. Why? Why are we nerfing sting bursts? Hold on. Can someone explain to me why we're nerfing sting bursts? And you can't say, but it's a buff. The attack power is increased. No, you're getting one of them. This is terrible. Like my only guess, okay, this is my best theory. Sting burst is used to craft pedal torrent, right? So maybe people were complaining that people would craft their pedal torrent and they just have a sting burst left over. Oh, it also means that they can't just make multiple pedal torrents out there somewhere. PM Howard is shaking and crying right now, knowing that he can't make 6 pedal torrents anymore. Okay, well, just a nerf pedal torrent, sure. We got a PM Howard nerf in the house. I'm fine with that, but man, can we make Sting Burst not suck? Like, the fact that they're just a material to be made into a pedal torrent is kind of stupid at this point. Like, I wish they didn't suck. They're tiny. If you put one down before, they're tiny. They just slow. They just suck. Give us a real trap with pedal torrent or with Sting Burst. They're just pathetic. So ISIL is still like the premier combat trap placer, dude. This is kind of ISIL's patch right now. I'm not gonna lie. Armor changes, not too many of them, but we'll see what they are. Optical camo suit got its skill damage reduction which is great, and it got a little of attack power to compensate. This is fine. I'm not opposed to optical camo being like more offensive. I just hate that it's so defensive. So I'm glad that this is a good change. Squad leader armband going from 20% crit damage down to 15. This probably needed to happen. It's pretty overstated for a green. Repaired slipper. Ooh, way less SP regen. Straight jackets. Ooh, way less SP regen. This is an indirect buff, by the way, to glacial shoes. If you want to not think about your mana now, glacial shoes and Scotty, one or the other. Those are your good choices for SP regen. Uchiwa. Wow, way less SP regen as well. They're really nerfing SP regen. And Schrodinger's box gets a slight buff. Kinda cute. Bug fixes and improvements. Added a chat notification in the game. Fixed bug not applying the remaining time of charmed effect if being stunned, and although the stunned duration is over. What? Oh, what? So if someone was already stunned and you chain it with a charm, it wouldn't actually play out the rest of the charm, it would just delete it, I guess? Kind of. I'm pretty sure I noticed this happening, but I could never really confirm it. Because I always felt like this exact thing was happening. So this is a good change. Alerts in translated language are now displayed correctly, and all skill icons are now displayed correctly, i.e. Kiara's Plague to Last Judgment. And yeah, that's it for the patch. I guess that sort of covers the whole thing. Highlights from the patch. Shukai got buffed. Why? Big question mark. Nadine got nerfed again. What else? Lee Dylan finally got a nerf. It's not even that big, but it got a nerf. Zahir got a bit of a nerf as well. At least in squad. Like, that's a significant nerf. Pretty exciting stuff. Shoichi is fucking cool. I don't think anyone can really deny that. Shoichi looks awesome. I can't wait to play him. He should be really fun. But yeah, that's sort of just it. What do you guys think of this patch? Like, do you think these are good changes overall? Is there a particular change that you don't like, you do like? Let me know what you think. I'm curious what the general opinion is. We have one, it looks really solid, and we have one, it feels a little tone deaf. But yeah, Kiana untouched Shukai buff. Yeah, those changes are a little strange. Hype for Shoichi. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I think that's just about my opinion, you know, wrapped up on this patch notes. Gino saying Shoichi makes me ignore the bad. That's their strat. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. In any case, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me for another patch note review. It's so much fun doing it with you guys because then we can like talk about it as we go. It's great. So yeah, if you're just catching the VOD and you want to sort of share in these patch notes reviews with me and talk with me about them, I do these live on Twitch right when the patch notes drop, so be sure to check that out. And hey, yeah, thank you guys everybody for watching, and yeah, that'll be it for me. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for stopping by.